Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. Continuing today with drawing every country in the world's flag. Back into the Horn of Africa, and we're going to be doing a country, a bit of a newer country on the map. We're going to be doing Eritrea. All right, so Eritrea, it's right on the Red Sea, and it actually closes off Ethiopia completely from access to that sea. So it used to be part of Ethiopia, and we'll address all that in our history lesson. I'm just going to extend my flag a little bit because it does have a long flag. So this place, it's actually home to some very, very early forms of Christianity, right? So a lot of my history lesson here is going to overlap a little bit with Ethiopia, which we haven't done yet. But we'll get more into detail about the kingdom of Ethiopia when the time comes. And that time will be soon because we're getting close to the finish line here. So Eritrea, again, some of the oldest Christian sites in the world. So they do still practice Christianity there today, and it's kind of it's a little bit different, like an Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity. And then it's also Muslim as well, so kind of split 50-50 as far as the religions here. And this area, very important to the Horn of Africa, right? Because you got the Red Sea right there, so that opens up trade to the Arab world, and then also Asia, India. Yeah, so Eritrea, important geostrategically, and kind of going real brief through the history. So they're part of the kingdom of Ethiopia, right? Ethiopia, one of the oldest civilizations, not just in Africa, but on the entire planet. And then they become absorbed into the Egyptian Empire for a little bit, then the Ottomans, and then in the 1880s, they're taken by Italy, right? So you have an Italian Ethiopia, which is never really a colony, right? Because Ethiopia was never colonized, but there is a big Italian presence there. So you do see some of that architecture, what's left of it, in this part of the world. So they won independence from Italian control in 1941, right? So during World War II. The United Nations, though, did not recognize it as a country, so they were just an autonomous region within the Federation of Ethiopia, right? So Ethiopia still called the shots, and that caused a lot of resentment with the people of Eritrea, right? Because they thought of themselves as separate. So there was about a decade of British control, with kind of leading up to the independence period in Africa, where everybody gets independence. So Ethiopia fully takes over Eritrea about 10 years later, and that kind of sets off a civil war that lasts for pretty much 30 years. And so that ends in 1991 when Eritrean fighters actually defeat the Ethiopian forces there. And then they have a referendum in 1993, and they overwhelmingly vote for independence. So a bit of a newer country on the globe, right? Eritrea, 1993. So since 1993, things been a little rough, right? Because it's Africa. Isaias Afwerki has been Eritrea's only president since independence. And he is not very well liked by the rest of the world. Very highly authoritarian. And this place is always kind of under watch because it's, Reporters Without Borders and agencies like that, they claim that this place is one of the highest abusers of human rights in the world. So it's an extremely poor country as well, right? So it's a very militarized society, right? So you got everybody must join the military, and there's some civilian service conscriptions as well. So they're always kind of ready for something to go off here. So after they achieve independence from Ethiopia, it's not over yet. So they have another border war in 1998, and then the UN kind of cracks down on that in 2000. So again, this is a place where they constantly need kind of outside help and assistance. 2007, a treaty was proposed. So you had about a decade of no peace, no war. So kind of a stalemate there. And then that ends in 2018, where they actually officially signed a Declaration of Peace and Friendship. And then the Eritrean military, right, because they got pretty much everybody there is in the military. They kind of look to police the Horn of Africa. So when other stuff kind of happens in that part of the world, Eritrea kind of tries to play the policeman and get involved with that, which I don't know. It sounds like you got to get your own police in order, but what do I know? Definitely a way different flag too, right? So Ethiopia has the Pan-African colors in the flag, which is 90% of Africa's flags. It seems like this one very different, right? Probably because they don't really seem to get along with Ethiopia too well, so they got to stand out a little bit. So there's speculation, right, that there's Eritrean support for terrorist organizations, Al-Shabaab. They have some economic ties, with Ethiopia because they kind of have to, right? Because you close in Ethiopia from the sea, right? Ethiopia is landlocked now that they don't have Eritrea anymore. So there's a little bit of that going on. The economy is mostly just, kind of primitive agriculture economy. And they've kind of been under the eye of the international community fairly recently, 21st century, just due to the fact that their president he's again highly authoritarian. He's been there since the 90s. So don't be surprised if you hear about a coup or something in that part of the world soon, because that's usually what happens if if they set their sights on somebody and say that he's one of the bad guys. So they have been trying to improve their image though, in those eyes, but who knows? We'll see what happens with that. And then let's just see here. We'll try to finish off this flag. And then I do promise that when we get to Ethiopia, I will talk about the Pan-African flag and why so many of these African flags look pretty much the same. No, not this one though. This one's not Pan-African, but we'll get to that eventually. Okay, so let me just gotta concentrate here for a second. It's got kind of a tricky little fern design in here. Shoot, where are my finer markers? Hold on, guys. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Did you miss me? Alright, I didn't know what I did with these things. Alright, yeah, this one's dying here, this red. Because I use it so much, because every flag has some red, right? And we all know the red on this channel, the blood, the struggle for the independence, the fighting, all that good stuff. So, every country fights. Well, except a couple, maybe. Except Switzerland and Costa Rica. But every country's got a little bit of red in it. So we're going to be going through that marker a lot faster than the other ones. Alright, so let's just get this design in here. And then I can finish coloring it in, and I'll tell you, give you the scoop on what this is all about, the comings and the goings and the doings of the Eritrean flag. Let's get in those nooks and crannies here. Okay, I think that's good. As I mentioned before, this country's military is kind of like they try to be like the policeman, right, of the Horn of Africa. They've been involved in quite a few conflicts. So they were involved with the Yemen crisis of 1995, the Hanish Island crisis, because Yemen is kind of a stone throw away, right? So this place is right across the Red Sea from the Middle East. The first Congo War of 96-97, the Sudanese Civil War of 96-98, then of course their own war, the Djiboutian-Eritrean conflict of 2008. This was a big one, the Tigray conflict in Ethiopia, so that was just a couple years ago. And then of course in all these conflicts, the Eritreans are accused of widespread human rights abuses. Okay, and I think we're just about done. Yeah, we're done with that flag. Okay, so we'll close it off. Close off that Eritrean border. Close it off from Ethiopia. Alright, so Eritrea. Okay, so we got a gold wreath here, right, in that little red triangle, encircling like a gold olive branch, right? So we all know what the olive branch means, right? Peace. And also it stands for like the country's agricultural economy. Red, the blood, we already know that. Fighting for freedom. Blue is the bounty of the sea, right? They're right on the Red Sea over there. They could have used the red for the Red Sea, but no, they used the blue. They're keeping it traditional here. And then the green is the agriculture, right? Very agriculture-based economy. And this wreath here is very similar to one that was flown on the Eritrea flag of 1952, right? When they first kind of made the case for independence before that war kicked off. And I guess this flag is supposed to kind of represent the shape of the country, and I don't know. It's kind of just a triangle there, but yeah. So I guess it sort of looks like it, right? Because yeah, basically it's just kind of like a chunk of land, though. On whatever. I guess if that's what they say, that's what it is. So it looks like Eritrea. All right, everybody. So that is Eritrea. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.